right, Grandma. You asked for a roast, and as your oldest and wisest grandchild, I'll get things going. Of course, as you watch these videos, it's going to become real obvious that that is not true. You got some funny grandkids. Um, your kids are pretty funny too. So, the first lesson that you taught all of us is that family comes first. Sometimes you mean that a little bit more literally than other times. I remember one time being in your garage. I believe I was learning how to roller skate, maybe, and something moved in a cat food bag. And boy, did you put me first. Pushed me right out in front of you, in between you and whatever was in that bag, and ran into the house and closed the door behind you. So, yeah, family comes first. You've done a wonderful job making sure we're all as cultured as possible. Some of our personalities might make that a little bit harder than others. I think that you and I have seen 2.5 Shakespeare plays together. We saw Macbeth in Alabama. We saw The Merry Wives of Windsor at UTC, and it is not PG. And then during a very traditional staging of Othello, we made it to intermission, looked at each other, and just said, and then everybody dies. Let's go. It was excruciatingly boring. We managed to sit through some other questionable things that I bet I'm the only person that watched with their grandma. And you're probably the only grandma that took their granddaughter to. Let's be real honest. We walked out during intermission on a couple other things too. We weren't going to suffer fools. We didn't have to sit through things just because people called them art. I think that I have only ever been to one stand-up comic show without you. We've seen lots. Again, many of them not appropriate to see with your grandmother or granddaughter. But we saw some really cool stuff together. Some not so cool stuff together. And I know that anytime I see anything inappropriate, it'll make me think of you. What else can I say? You're our true North Star. You are the guiding light to which we will compare all choices, actions, thoughts, intentions, everything. And that is both a blessing and a curse. We will proudly be the children and grandchildren of Joanne Phillips, and then also use it as a word of warning. You're acting like grandma. Love you doesn't even begin to cut it. You're everything, and we will all strive to continue to make you so proud. Love you.
Hey, Grandma. Big voice Catherine. Hey, Grandma. Perhaps my favorite 5 words that you ever said were, would you like to go? I don't know that I ever actually heard what you said after you said, would you like to go? Because my answer was always yes. Whether we were going to travel logs where I was the youngest person by 40 years at least and the only one without blue hair, or whether we were going to lectures on a book or subject that I certainly didn't care about, but you did. Whether we were gonna go see shape note singers or storytellers, or take me to Riverbend where we would only buy Dippin' Dots. Every cousin recital that they ever had where we sat and I read the program. You drug me to Europe where we got to see lots of things that I definitely would not have if it wasn't for you. Most recently, we went to dinner with the doctor where we got hoodwinked into possibly being brainwashed. I went to finishing school in Dalton with Megan. You dressed me up as a senorita and we went to your Spanish class. Thanks for all the memories and all the adventures. And I love you. I love you.
Thank you for everything you've ever taught me, Grandma. Whether it was about politeness and hosting, how to cook cheese biscuits, or how to look at situations with a sense of humor. I love you very much, and you've been a very important mentor in my life. And I know you'll take care of me when I get older.
People have always told me I look like you. We both know that I inherited a lot of your attributes. Unfortunately, not the kitchen. I do appreciate my love of learning, which I got from you. You're dragging me to science fairs, and anything educational free as a child paid off. I'm sure I've done the same thing to my children, and I continue to go to free educational events today, and am thankful I live at the university. I love that you have a reputation already at ETSU as somebody who loves graduations and bluegrass. So thanks for everything. Thanks for the memories. And I love you. I'll miss you.
Hi, Grandma. This is weird. You taught us all a lot about manners, hoping that one day we would be able to fit in high society, even if we're not from high society. So far it's worked, but I'm a little bit confused because your dying wish is for us to roast you, which seems like the exact opposite of manners. I mean, it's like taking candy from a lady on oxygen. So, thanks, Grandma. I'll probably end up crying, thanks, Grandma. I'll probably end up laughing till I cry a lot at the Sunday paper now. Everybody watching, you may... well, seeing as next summer you probably won't be here, next summer might be the summer I finally get abs. Because there won't be any more little Debbie's at your house.
Hey, Grandma. I didn't write any jokes. I'm not really funny, but that's what Connor is for. So, I just wanted to say that I have grandparents, and they've always told me that I could be whoever I wanted to be and achieve all of my dreams and accomplish my goals. But they've never cared enough to scare me into doing the right thing. I think you're the only person in the world who has mastered the lead slap of disapproval, and hopefully one day I can master that so I can use it on my kids and my grandkids and help other people be better. Everyone's always said that we drink coffee the same way, that we reheat the same cup of coffee for like 3 days before we drink it. And now, anytime that I put that same cup of coffee in the microwave for the 7th time, everyone's going to get teary-eyed at me and probably pat me on the back or something. I think you'd be happy to know that I finally subscribed to the newspaper on my own, because if you're not going to be there to hand me the crosswords every single time I walk through your door, then I might as well get them delivered to my house, which is the next best thing.
I remember one time when Mother was going to a dress-down day at Kirkman. She had on one of my shirts, denim with writing over the pocket. Looked like a prison uniform. I said, "Mothers don't go to school with writing on their shirts." Didn't realize, but the writing over the pocket was 69RU12. Mother always took us to the science fair at UTC. Affordable and interesting. Mother had to bear up for all the years, people seeing her, meeting her, and saying, "You're Brian's mother." That, she said, it always tightened her up in the stomach. Didn't know what I'd done. Well, I experienced that. You're Joanne's son when I went to Trinidad, with so many of the students having been impacted by her at Oxford Graduate School. Mother always made chocolate sheet cake when Greg, David, Tommy, and I would be in town for holidays or for the summer. Milk and hot sheet cake or warm sheet cake, they lived for it. And Mother always left notes to take care of something or to remind me of something or to remember something. She started with Bo, comma, whatever it was, Ma. One day, one night, either Tommy, David, or Greg wrote a note and left it for me. Bo, kiss my ass, Ma. Over the years, we took a lot of people to church or gave them rides home, Campus Crusade or other activities that they wouldn't have gotten to without Mother being the chauffeur. Everyone was always welcomed at our house and fed when they showed up. When I was in high school, David Nichols invited me to start refereeing girls softball for money. My mother said, "You cannot referee those girls. They'll scratch your eyes out and eat you alive." Well, now I'm a referee. And now I referee girls volleyball. And there are a few girls that I do get scared of. But one time we were riding down 4th Street and some obvious hooker-looking streetwalker walked in front of the car. The windows up on my side, but Mother didn't know it, and I yelled, "Hey, streetwalker." And she hit me in the chest so hard and said, "That woman will come over here and scratch your eyes out." Mother told Charles and I that we should take a senior friend that might not go to the prom with somebody else if we didn't take them. And we did that. And it was fun. One of Mother's sayings is, get it in writing, write it down. People tend to straighten up a little bit once it's in writing. One time we were having a food drive at school, and I gave away our basement pantry for food at the food drive at school. When Mother found out, she was a little taken back because she would buy things at a discount and save them. But she knew the heart was right and it was going to people that needed it, so she didn't really get too bad. Mother would tell me to listen to my sister. And I have, and it has gotten me out of a lot of trouble. Mother stepped up in high school, and she and I would call and get chaperones for the youth house at Red Bank Baptist Church. We couldn't have gone if somebody hadn't done that, and it was hard work. One time while Carolyn was visiting, Mother said something to me and then said, "You're not too big to whip." And Carolyn started laughing hysterically and said, "Aunt Jo, call me when you're going to do that. I want to watch." Mother always tried to keep me humble academically. When I would tell her I got 100 on a certain test, she'd say, "Out of what?" She also learned from the tailor at Kirkman how to take up the waist in pants from the school tailor so that my pockets would not have to meet for so many darts. My legs were much bigger than my waist, and I couldn't buy pants my size. She facilitated all of us going to camps, Expo 72 for Jen and I in Dallas, Scouts, YMCA, church retreats. She understood what I meant when I said it's okay when I have to ask several girls out for a date before they're available, because I knew that I was thinking about that. They knew I was thinking about them. And I said, it's as good as a date. And Mother said she understood.
My funny memory of Grandma is that one time I went to go out to eat with her and her friend, and I thought we were stopped at a red light, and we weren't stopped at a red light because we were at the restaurant. I didn't know that, of course. So Grandma and her friend unbuckled and opened the door, and I thought I was going to say, "Oh, you guys are you guys crazy or something?" Until I realized that we were at the restaurant.
Hey Grandma, sorry I didn't get a little more dolled up for you, but we don't do presentation. I do think that I have taken that to heart more than any of your other grandchildren. The clean hands and a pure heart, we always make sure that our hands are clean, but that's as far as we can go. I don't know if you remember when I was shopping for my wedding dress, and I tried on this dress that was gorgeous. Not the one I ended up getting, but when I asked everybody if they liked it, you know, Catherine and Carrie were like, yes, it's pretty, but it's not the one you're gonna get. You said it's beautiful if you're going for that innocent bride look. Thanks for that one. Thanks for helping me get my bachelor's degree and going through my accounting class, which I never would have survived. And thank you for flipping the coin when we were deciding what answer to pick on my test. And I'll have you know, if I find out any of my cousins have been using your sunscreen, it ain't gonna be pretty. I love you. Thank you for this family. Thank you for giving me what Catherine has deemed best cousins. That is because of you. We love you. Thank you for everything.
Grandma Joanne quotes that play in my head. You're not going like that, or not dressed like that, which most of the time I don't. And act as nice as you look, which I'll tell you, it's getting easier as I get older. One of my favorite things about Grandma is how good of a gift giver she is. Every year, Samantha and I would get the same gift, and pink and blue typically. And so we would open it together because we knew it was the same gift. And one year I think it was a journal, and she got a pink one and I got a blue one, and that was the wrong color that year. And so we switched. And then the next year Grandma picked up on that, so she gave us those colors in fabric tie-dye. It was really pretty. And that was the wrong color that year, so we went ahead and switched, and I got the blue that year or the pink that year, whatever it was. It's obviously very important. And the next year she really blew it out of the water. Samantha was a little bit ahead of me, so she was opening it. I was excited to open it too. And then I opened a duster. I did not know how she knew that I had been wanting a house duster for that long. I hadn't said anything and she just knew. Amazing. Especially for Christmas, a duster. Amazing. So I hope I inherit your gift of gift giving. And I'll have you know that I'm the only one that's working on getting you redheaded grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And lots of wonderful things, and appreciate the biscuits and the birthday chicken. Love you.
Oh, Joanne, you're an amazing woman. You helped raise a lot of kids, and we're all better for it. Yeah, we're all better for it.
So just to preface this with a warning, I'm aware that I do have something in the corner of my mouth throughout the rest of this video. It was like right here. It's really annoying, and I want to go back and reshoot it, but I think it'll just be best served if we leave it as is. I apologize. Doesn't mean I love you any less. Another thing you'll also notice is transitions are going to be really good in this. Hey, go, Joanne. So I put together a little slideshow. It's not that much, and it's mostly fairly recently, but it's just some pictures, of some stuff that we've done together over the years. Like I said, mostly recently. But yeah, then we'll get into the curtailed version of all the stuff I could have written. But yeah, you know that. When asked to reflect on the influence that Grandma Joanne had in my life, I really had to think about it. She's definitely the cleanest and most friendly person you'll ever meet. I'm just kidding. And then that's the only part that I've written so far, like writing it. So the rest is going to be bullet points and talking. One important thing that you will learn growing up with Grandma and visiting is that food safety, we've been taught our entire lives, is bullshit. Because of Grandma Joanne, I know that a fully cooked egg can last 1 or 2 days, maybe more, really until it gets eaten. But the caveat is you have to store it on a small plate with other leftover food, preferably right beside the walkway to the left of the cooktop. But yeah, we never used the fridge. So Grandma Joanne always finds the humor in situations, so we had to learn to laugh with her, or she would be laughing at us. And more or less, you might say that we've all been traumatized into having a good sense of humor, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Another thing that I've definitely taken from Grandma Joanne is I owe everything that I know about organization and keeping things tidy to her. She's actually, it's a little bit like if Hermione had never gotten a bag, but instead just had a house. That's basically Grandma Joanne. Funny little fact, a lot of people don't know this, but copy paper has 2 sides. You can print on it, use it, do what you need with it, and then put it back into a pile, and then you can have an entire new pile of paper that can be printed on, and then it's ready to be recycled or thrown away or made paper plans with, whatever you prefer. One more thing about her organization and her Hermione house. It's kind of funny, any time period from 1930s to about I don't know when she stopped buying clothes on the regular, but she never really got rid of them until a few years back. So growing up, you could basically go to the attic and get any type of costume ever. And it's kind of ironic, but a few years back, the family actually did overhaul the attic, as we all know, and got rid of a bunch of things. Well, come to now, if you want to wear something really cool that's like trendy again, you can go pay $20 or so for the very similar item to what you could have found previously in the attic. She was also never afraid to get into physical altercations. And by this, I mean one time I can remember. I remember Sam and I used to not like each other, and back in those days, there was one day in particular, we were in the front yard of her house, and she was going to take us somewhere, and Sam and I were about to get into a fist fight. So Sam, came at me, and I, leaped at him, and I can't remember it all happened so fast, but she threw herself in between us, and me leaping into the air at Sam translated into me leaping to land on my grandmother. Luckily, she had her whacking stick, and she didn't actually fall all the way to the ground. I can't remember if this was before or after the hips, but that could have been bad. But yeah, nothing to break up an altercation like wondering if you had just killed Grandma. It would have been worse for me because I would have been the weight that crushed her. Another thing that, there's so many I could name, but I'm having trouble. I guess it's kind of on the spot. It's kind of an emotional on the spot. But honesty is for losers when it comes to writing memos in the professional sense. So basically, after all the papers and resumes and excuses that I ever wrote, and then got them strucken through with her pencil, mind you, it was on the back of an already printed page, probably. Is that nobody cares about your personal business, and she was always a good filter for that. So more or less, she would narrow down the memo from a paragraph to 2 sentences, which is basically hey, here's what's happening. Thanks. But yeah, it's very. She's gotten a lot of people a lot of places with those skills. So it's gonna be something that hopefully you got to where you need to go, because it's about to get a little bit harder. Well, you're gonna have to think about it. So yeah. So 2020 has been a good year. I'm just kidding. But yeah, the world's about to get a little bit more common, and in conclusion, I guess I'll just say I love you, and